Okay, so I'm back, and once again, I'm gonna recommend three animes for you guys to watch. And these three I have seen, and I definitely recommend for you guys to watch them. The first one I'm gonna recommend is actually really new. It's still airing as of recording of this video. And then the next two are not as new. They've really completed for the most part, but I would still definitely recommend you guys to watch them. So the first one I'm gonna recommend is the new one, which is called Gachi Aikuta. Gachi Aikuta is the new anime that's airing right now that I definitely recommend for you to watch if you haven't already. Living in the slums of a wealthy town, Rudo and his foster father try to coexist with the rest of the town's residents, who are all basically wealthy upper-class individuals who live in the other side of the wall, where it's actually clean and fancy looking. But Rudo despises the upper class and how they waste things. Ignoring the warnings that they have given him, he actually rummages through the town's garbage in search of anything useful and valuable to save from being thrown to the abyss. And the abyss is basically a massive hole where anything considered trash is dumped, including people. Rudo's biological father is one such individual that was thrown in the abyss. One day after being framed for murder, Rudo is thrown into the abyss just like his father was. But instead of dying, which is what he expected to happen, he actually discovers that the abyss is not just some massive waste dump where all trash is thrown. He discovers that there's a whole nother world out there in the abyss with its own cities and people like him who use special weapons called vital instruments to combat trash monsters. In order to get revenge on the one who framed him for murder, Rudo becomes a cleaner to fight his way back up and out of the abyss. This anime is really one that I was not expecting at all. I don't remember hearing of the manga or source material for it, so when it came out, it was actually a bit of a surprise. And when I did start watching it, even though it does have some cliche elements to it, it's good. That's really the best I can say about it, is that it definitely is good, and the main character makes it. And it's not just that he has this revenge he wants to seek out. He has these people he wants to go after that, you know, he feels like wronged him. It's just the fact that he has actual character development throughout the whole series that isn't just relied on those tropes that basically all other anime have been using for a long time. And then the actual world of this series itself is really interesting. Kind of reminds me of some Trigun-esque, Cowboy Bebop-esque, but in a new form of anime that's been releasing these days. So I would definitely recommend Gachi Aikuta. If I said that right, I'm not really sure, but must watch. The next anime I'm gonna recommend is actually something more along the lines of supernatural romance. So if you're really into those things, because I know I am, especially supernatural, psychological anime, there's not really too much that comes out these days, but when they do come out, I find them really interesting, or at least in the level of this anime. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. You might have heard of this anime. I actually heard of it for a very long time, but I didn't actually watch it until recently, and I can't believe I didn't, because this is definitely along the lines of something that I would have liked if I watched it when it first originally aired. Mai Sakurajima is a third-year high school student who gained fame in her youth as a child actress, but recently her fame has been halted after she, for unknown reasons, just left the public and decided to attend high school. And she had a promising career too, but for some unknown reason, she decided to leave all of that behind her. And even though she is a celebrity, people in the school actually refuse to interact with her because she has a certain vibe that is not very welcoming. Sakuta, who is the main character in this story, goes to the library one day and he sees Mai walking around the library in a bunny outfit. The only catch is that he's the only one that's able to see her. She is invisible to everybody else except for him. And after confronting her, he realizes that she is another victim of puberty syndrome. If you're wondering what puberty syndrome is, it's a rare supernatural disease that only affects teenagers. And once you're going through it, you can expect anything from time loops to invisibility to doppelgangers. It's a very bizarre scenario that these kids are going through. So the thing I really like about this anime is it actually is broken into sections. So even though it is, I believe, around 14 episodes, it's not continuous. So the first section or the story kind of wraps up within the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then the next 4 episodes is the next arc, and then after that it's, you know, the same thing, the next arc, which I really like it. But at the same time, it's still the same exact story. It's not resetting. The story as a whole is still going in a linear direction. It's not like an alternate universe or anything like that. And the supernatural elements that the characters in this series are put through are pretty interesting, and you have to think about what would happen if this happened, or what would it be like if I was in this scenario. It is definitely worth a watch. And the final anime I'm gonna recommend is Death Parade. After death, either heaven or hell awaits most humans, but for a select few, death brings them to Quindecim, a bar where only pairs of people who die at the same time can enter. And in this bar, instead of realizing that they're dead, the people who are sent to it have no idea, and they're forced to play these games where they have to expose their true natures. Decim, who's one of the characters in the series acting as an arbiter, must judge whether each soul will be reincarnated or cast into the void. His perspective begins to shift when he meets a woman with no memories from her past life, who helps him understand the depth of human emotion. Essentially speaking, this is like the judgment. So whenever these pairs of people enter this bar, that's kind of like halfway between heaven or hell, quote unquote. It basically, they play these games and decide, are these truly people who are worth moving on with a better life, if that makes sense. And this is another one of those series that has a very cool concept, but the other thing I really like about it is basically the death game sort of scenarios that they're put in. I'm a really big fan of animes that have these death game scenarios, and this definitely sits at the top of that. So not only do you have the psychological element to it, you also have the death game scenario, which is a really unique combination that you won't really find in that many other anime. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.